Welcome to the Border City Kids podcast. Just going to get this set up here. We'll get her going in about a minute. How we doing? Just getting this all set up here. I'll be right back. All right, I think we are good to go. Welcome if you're just joining me for this live weather forecast for today. We're going to get her going in about 30 seconds, so I will see you. If you think this is just another winter storm, think again. This Wednesday, the Great Lakes region is stepping into one of the trickiest setups that we will see all winter. A dangerous mix of freezing rain, rising temperatures, and slick roadways. We're talking about ice, not snow, coating the roads, sidewalks, and power lines. Temperatures will hover right around the freezing mark, which means even a small shift of 1 or 2 degrees could change everything. Warm air pushes in above the surface. Cold air hangs on at the ground level, and that's when we see freezing rain develop, creating hazardous travel conditions across the region. If you have plans on Wednesday, you'll want to pay close attention to today's forecast. Timing's going to be critical, and conditions could deteriorate quickly. Let's break down when the ice moves in, how long it lasts, and who will see the worst of it. Let's get into today's forecast. Here is our radar that we are expecting for Wednesday of this week. Now, right now, you can see this is quite a big storm stretching all the way from North Dakota through the Great Lakes region, through the east coast of the United States. Now, the reason we do have this area circled here, and this is for southern Ontario, a little bit north of the London region, this is where we are planning to see a lot of that freezing rain, which is right in here. This is where we see a lot of that freezing rain, and I'm not sure exactly how much it will be. We're still a couple days out, but we are very, very confident that this area here is going to see a very significant amount of freezing rain. Obviously, while temperatures will decrease as well, this could put snow on top of freezing rain, which means that driving conditions would be awful. Now, we also see another low pressure system out west here, and the reason we're going to keep an eye on that for the next few days, because this is going to develop into another round 2 of this storm that's already coming through the Great Lakes region already. So we're going to keep an eye on that for now. So that could develop into what Wednesday is going to be. So we'll keep an eye on that, and that's all we can do for that. Now, this is just going to go into a little bit more detail on what we're expecting in the Michigan, Ontario region. Now, you can see the closer we get to Lake Superior, past Lake Michigan, kind of past Lake Superior is where we see a lot of that snow, freezing rain, and sleet mix. Now, this is very dangerous, like I said, for driving. Those are like the big 3 right there. And behind this system to the south, we're seeing quite a bit of rain. Now, there is potential for maybe some thunderstorms, but I would expect for sure a decent amount of rain because the temperature is going to push quite north. And it's going to be actually very warm depending on where you are. And if this system falls just a little bit further south, we could see freezing rain develop a little further south. So probably tomorrow we'll be very confident on where that's going to happen. Now, moving further east on the eastern coast of the United States, as well as looking at southern Ontario, this is where we see a huge section of that freezing rain. And I want to say, like, it's about an hour north of London, Ontario, is where we see a lot of that heavy freezing rain develop right in here. So I want to say, keep an eye out if you are living in that region, especially for morning commutes on Wednesday, possibly through the day into when you head home from work on Wednesday. Now, the reason I have this circled out here on the East Coast is because the snow looks to be very, very heavy, and it looks like Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, those big three are going to take quite a bit of the brunt of the storm, and maybe even a slight chance of freezing rain. But you are going to see a bit of snow in that area, and I think it's going to be hard, and I think it's going to be fast. So we need to keep an area on that as well. Now, Pennsylvania, looks like you're just going to take mostly rain. New York, you're going to have a bit of that mix of freezing rain and snow as well. But like I said, if you're in southern Ontario in that red circle, please keep an eye out on Wednesday. And if you're in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or Connecticut as well, keep an eye on that for how much snow you're going to get with a little bit of rain behind it, which could cause hazardous driving conditions. So looking at some of our snow totals, I think that we're going to see a majority of it closer to Lake Superior on the northern side. As far as North Dakota goes, you'll see a couple inches of snow if you head towards Minnesota on the state line with North Dakota and Minnesota. We're going to see about 5 to 6 inches of snow. It does say 7.2 here. You could see that. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit less. And working our way east, we're seeing about 3 to 4 inches of snow, respectfully. As we go east, we see over Lake Superior, once again, is where we're seeing a majority of that snow, between 9 and 10 inches. But there isn't much snowfall in the way of how much it's bringing to how much, like, a widespread area, because I think a lot of this is going to have a lot of rain pushed behind it, which is going to actually say, this isn't a major snow event. It's actually going to be a freezing rain and rain event. So it just depends on where this falls up. This line of storms, winter snowfall, could push further south. It could push further north. Just depends on how things are going to work out that day. So we got to really keep an eye on that. And here's our snowfall totals for northern Ontario. It's a few inches of snow, but it is dangerous. Remember, this becomes very dangerous when we're looking at freezing rain with power outages, with branches falling, trees snapping, as well as our driving, our commutes to work. So we really need to keep an eye out there. Out in New York and on the East Coast, like I said, you're going to see about 4 to 5 inches of snow potentially. And I think it's going to be really quick, and I think it's going to fall really fast. Okay, other than that, as far as temperatures go right now into the next weekend, I think we're going to see all this cold air up in northwestern Canada right now, up in the territories. I think we're going to see that funnel down, and I think we're going to see that push down into the Gulf, near the Gulf. And I think it's going to push all the way down into the southern portions of Florida as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of below average temperatures for this time. So I think we're going to be stuck for a couple days in what we were about a week or so ago, when we were stuck for weeks and weeks well below average. Now, for the time being, we are going to be way above average, as we see the East Coast is in red, the West Coast is in the blues and the purple. So I think over the next few days, we're going to see this shift further east and east, and we're going to see all of this cold air up in northern Canada and in the territories. I think we're going to see it funnel down south into the southeastern portion of the United States. But the good news is right now, if you're in any of these areas in red, you're going to be above average for the next 6 to 10 days. And we are going to see, I think in the future, after a week or so, when that cold air pushes off, I think we're going to see quite a push of warm air up into the northeast again. Because as you can see, we have a good push here of warm air coming from the south. And I think it's going to push northeast. I think we're going to see above average temperatures again. So our modeling's kind of all over the place, but the signs do look like we are going to be above average for the next little while. So that's what we're looking at right now for a little bit. We'll keep an eye on it. But thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time. Probably tomorrow, we'll give you an update on what we can expect from the storm.